Okay. All right. So uh, I guess we are now into the afternoon. So good afternoon on this Sunday. It is February 22nd. And of course, you've definitely heard at this point that we do have a blizzard on the way for much of New Jersey, New York City, and into Long Island. Let me get a graphic in there so that you guys could see something that, probably is a little bit more relevant. But I do think that we're in for a storm that is going to be absolutely epic here for New York City. And this is going to be a storm, just like the one in 2016, the one in 2006. So we have a lot of different storms here that have happened just about every 10 years. And this one is right on schedule. The last one being about 10 years ago. That was a major storm. It's actually been 8 years since we've had a blizzard warning in New York City. I think actually I should start off by pointing out what a blizzard warning actually means, because I think a lot of people, when they think of blizzard, typically think of, a lot of snow that is falling over the area. That is not necessarily what a blizzard warning means. So let me show you this graphic here in a second and really just give you the definition of a blizzard, which is not what you might think. So as we switch graphics here, let's move down and all up and show you what the definition of a blizzard is. So a blizzard is actually nothing to do with the amount of snow, but more about the parts of the storm that we will be experiencing. In this case, it's going to be sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or greater. We're actually expecting winds that could gust as high as 55 to 60 miles per hour with this storm. That's going to happen late tonight and through the early morning hours of tomorrow. It also, in order to be a blizzard, must have 3 consecutive, not just 3 hours, but 3 consecutive hours in a row where we have less than 1/4 visibility because of either heavy snow or blowing snow. And in this case, we're going to have both. We're going to have snow that is very heavy, perhaps even 3 inches of snow per hour, but we're also going to see that amount of snow and blowing snow contribute to those lower visibilities as well. So we got all the different components coming together here in this case, and that is why we have our blizzard warning. So let's switch back to the graphic here and show you exactly what we're expecting as we go through the rest of this afternoon. So there you have the blizzard warning. Of course, we know it does mean that there will be 35 mile per hour sustained winds or greater, but also that we're going to have that heavy snow reducing those visibilities. So as we take you through the radar, or rather future radar, this is the high resolution model that we like to use when we get real close to the events. And as we move this forward, this is in the next hour. You can see the precipitation is expected to continue to increase as indicated by the darker colors. But what you may notice is that a lot of those darker colors, the absolute darkest, are just off the coast. So this has been a trend in our models. We've noticed a trend toward the east again. This has been a really tough storm to track, but we've been noticing a trend toward the east, and that now continues to shift the heaviest snow off the coast. Does that mean we're not going to get absolutely blasted by some heavy snow? No. What it means is the areas in northeastern Pennsylvania, parts of the Catskills, and maybe even parts of the Hudson Valley, those amounts are going to be cut down. But for New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, I don't think that this trend means anything at all. So let's keep taking you through this hour by hour. And so at this point, we're about 10 o'clock at night. This is what the radar should look like. The heaviest snow, yes, it's off the coast, but still 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates throughout New Jersey. Notice the Jersey Shore perhaps getting in on the very heaviest snow at this point by about 10, 11 o'clock. And then as we take you into the overnight hours, here we are at 1 o'clock in the morning, we're very much still in the snow. I mean, this is going to go on for several hours. Notice as we get into the early morning hours, some of those darker colors now getting into New York City. And then eventually later on Monday, this model doesn't quite go out that far. We're going to see this storm winding down. What I also want to show you are the wind speeds. So these are the wind gusts that we expect with this storm. As I mentioned at the very beginning, that a blizzard is not just about the snow amounts, but also includes the wind gusts, 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or rather sustained winds with higher gusts, and then also the lower visibility. Often if you have wind like that and you have some heavy snow falling, there's going to be a lot of blowing snow. That in itself will reduce the visibility. But let's take you through the wind gusts here and what we can expect, because I'm a bit concerned about this as well, especially on the shore-facing, ocean-facing areas of New Jersey and southern Long Island, the Atlantic-facing side of Long Island. So these are the winds right now. They're already kind of gusting 20, 25 miles per hour. But as we take you into the overnight, and let's see, this looks like it actually tried to update the model, but we're not quite ready for that full run yet. So we'll go back one more run, but here we are at, this would be 7 o'clock, and we're seeing 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts at the coast. Here we are at 8 o'clock. You see those oranges? Those oranges, by the way, indicate 50, 60 mile per hour winds, and that stays offshore until here we are, that would be about 11 p.m. tonight. Then we get to about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you see those numbers? Let me zoom in a little bit for you. You see those numbers right there, right? Those are 59, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So in general, when the wind gets above 58 miles per hour, that tends to be the threshold. It's the same threshold that's used for severe thunderstorms, where we start to see trees being knocked down. That could lead to some power outages. We expect wind gusts to reach that threshold, and frequent wind gusts combined with the heavy snow of 60, 65 miles per hour. I think that this is going to be, and I'm going to say this on camera for you, I think this is going to be a storm that people will remember for a very long time. The combination of heavy snow piling up, without the wind, anywhere from 1 to 2 feet, from New York City being closer to a foot, out toward the east end of Long Island, closer to 2 feet. You have that alone, but then you have these types of winds. That's going to cause these drifts. It's going to be spots, there will be spots where that wind drifts that snow to 3 or 4 feet high, and then there will be spots where there's hardly any snow at all. It's going to make it very difficult to measure the snow. It's going to be very difficult to clean up this snow. So those are the wind gusts as we go into early Monday morning. So if you're wondering when is the worst of the storm coming in, that will be after midnight tonight into the early morning hours. Look at those winds just continuing here right through about 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that that's going to let up very much even as we go toward about mid-morning and late morning on Monday. So we have the snow portion, we have the wind portion. There are also some coastal flooding concerns too. Major coastal flooding, as you can imagine with these types of winds, that is going to push that water onshore. So especially during high tide times, when we have high tide and the combination of what basically amounts to a surge, like a storm surge, we're going to get some major coastal flooding. That's the case also for New Jersey, and also, again, the Atlantic south-facing areas of Long Island. So lots with this storm. I will show you the blizzard warnings that are in effect in just a moment. Want to take a live look. Of course, there's an ad right there because we're going to take a look at a live shot. So give the Honda ad a second here. But this is a live shot right now of Times Square. You can see the snow is falling. I'll make that a little bigger for you so you can see. And yeah, you got snow falling already. Pretty good flake size. That matters, right? If you get that grainy sand, it's not going to accumulate as much. But from the size of the flakes that I've been seeing, I think we're going to see some pretty good snow ratios. There's a lot of moisture all the way up the atmosphere. This is the real deal, folks. This is going to happen. I know people were thinking, I don't know what to think. I don't know if this is the real deal or not, but this is going to be the real deal. So let me get you over actually to weather.gov, show you the blizzard warnings that are in effect for New York City. So let's move that over there. I'll make that a little bit bigger for you. You're right there in my browser. And so as we're looking at these warnings, everywhere in red is where we have a blizzard warning. So that is all the way up through the mid-Hudson Valley, a good portion of Jersey, pretty much the whole state, all of Long Island. I haven't seen anything like this. We've got all of Connecticut under blizzard warnings. So a huge part of the Northeast is going to experience 35-mile-per-hour sustained winds, heavy snow that will reduce the visibility to less than a quarter mile for at least 3 hours, probably going to be quite a bit longer than that. Major storm. Big question, you're like, Eric, are you gonna tell me how much snow we're gonna get? So I'm gonna show you the European model. This has been the model that has been on the lower end as far as snow amounts. And so we're gonna use that so that we can at least say that this is at least how much snow we are going to see from this storm. So as we move this ahead to get a total here, let's see, storm total, and this is what we're looking at far as at least this amount. You probably should make that a little bit bigger for you, right? So you can see what's going on. But we're talking at least a foot in the New York metro, at least 15, 16, 17 inches out there on Long Island. These amounts, that's just the snow. You take the wind blowing that snow around, we're going to get drifts that are easily 1 to 1.5 times that amount. And like I said, these are the low end amounts. This is the European model, and I can quickly switch over to the American model so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. That actually, with the latest update, did back off a little bit, but I look at some of those totals that are down there in New Jersey. We're talking 2 feet of snow, but we're still talking at least 15, 16 inches on the east end of Long Island. Actually interesting because I just am watching that happen, that change with the latest model update, that we are seeing the GFS cut back on those amounts a little bit, and that's likely because of that shift toward the east as far as the track goes. All right. I said I wanted to do a quick weather update. I think I've been talking for a while now, so that is what we're thinking. This is update number 1. I'm going to try to do a few more updates to keep everyone in the loop as to what's going on. I got some friends around the area, as you know, so feel free to send me some of your weather videos or pictures so we can kind of watch this storm progress. You can use my email, eric@ericadameontv.com. That's my direct email, so we can maybe show those pictures with the next weather update. So stay safe. You know, the radar right now, I'm not sure if I have that set up for you guys or not. Let's see if we can actually get that set up. But the radar right now is showing quite a bit of heavier precipitation coming up from the south. Let's see. It doesn't look like it's quite set up yet, but we'll try to get that set up for the next weather update. But the radar is showing some heavier precipitation coming up from the south, and that will mean as the afternoon goes on, that snow is going to get heavier too. So enjoy it, stay inside, catch up on some shows, but have a plan in case the power does go out, because I am concerned about that early tomorrow morning, you know, especially around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning as those winds really start to fire up on the Atlantic facing side of Long Island. Okay, guys, I will have another weather update. Have a good rest of your afternoon.